Okay.
Ouch, that hurt. Oh,
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
indeed. Well, I mean, let's go back to hell the last almost 4 years now. When I guess if you go back to the campaign when we first started covering this clown, we all heard how he was the smartest man in the room, right?
Yeah. I
Or that
remember hearing that. I don't believe I actually believed it.
right. Well, and then we heard that when all the troubles really started kicking in, and we were seeing all these bad numbers still continuing to take place. We kept hearing, well, Mr. Obama is a very smart man, but blah blah blah. Fill in the blank here. And I know very clearly. I said at the time, hey, look, I'm not really willing to concede that Mr. Obama is extremely bright. I mean, we have none of his scores from any of the universities attended. We have, he supposedly was the editor of the Law Review, but we have no works in the Law Review that bear his byline on them.
That is
So,
correct.
I mean, I was never willing to concede that he was an exceptionally bright person. And now it looks as if maybe we've been vindicated this whole time. And certainly Mr. Krauthammer, or so it was Dr. Krauthammer, I guess, would agree with you and I on this one. So we're in good company, I think, bud.
Yeah, I think so. And, I want to take what you just said just one step further.
Hmm.
Really, we don't even have any proof that he was even there.
At Harvard or Occidental or Columbia.
Yep. We really have no proof.
Mm.
How
Well,
do we know he went there? How do we know that he didn't get his degree through an online correspondence course?
I guess we don't.
Graduated the third grade on the second try.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know. I mean, all of his records are sealed. I guess.
And ridiculous.
Well, I guess he would have to have attended there in some way or another, or there would be no records to seal.
Yeah, but the records to seal. All right, so I know how many people did you know that their first year of college they showed up for maybe a semester and flunked out.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a college record.
True. True that.
I had one guy that lived on my hall when I was in college at a well-known university. At finished his first semester with a 0.0 grade point. He wasn't back the next semester,
Uh,
but there are still records for him.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so say just for instance here, you go to Occidental, you do stay a year, you flunk out. Let's change our name from Barry Saltzman to Barack Obama and apply to Harvard. We can make up some records, man. If there are how many illegals here now that look like they're legal on paper because they put a couple of grand in the right pocket?
Yeah, true enough.
It can be done. So he goes to Harvard. He lasts about a semester. He flunks out. There you go. Okay, so maybe he was on the Harvard Law Review while he was there. Who knows? That's the whole point. How do you trust somebody who won't tell you basic stuff?
Yeah. Well, I got no argument there. He wasn't only on the Harvard Law Review; he was an editor or listed as an editor.
But how do we know?
Mm.
How do we know that he's not really somebody else?
How do I know you're not anybody else?
Oh, I know exactly who I am.
True enough. Okay, so very good, sir. All right, so Dr. Krauthammer continued his analysis of the debates by with his commentary on on Governor Romney's uh, performance, and he expounded upon the effect of the first debate. So let's hear from Dr. Krauthammer just a little more here.
And Romney was, I think this is obviously Romney at his best, but I think he made a great tactical decision. It was the first 5 minutes he spent on defense, but in a very kind of aggressive way. He's been the recipient of a barrage, an unending barrage of negative ads, which is why in the swing states where the ads are running, his numbers are worse than they are nationally. And what he did is he took them on head on. You know, all the ads, the over-the-top ad hominems, where he's a guy who not only lays off steelworkers, but he kills their wives. You know, there's stuff which has been on over and over again. All he had to do was show up without horns on his head, and he wins that one. But he did better. He was tough, but he was respectful, affable, non-threatening, and he sort of, it's the double-edged sword of a negative ad. It works unless and until people actually see the guy. And when they see the guy and the negative ads are so at the variance with the real guy, then you get this amazing reaction. CBS polled 56% of Americans saying that their opinion of Romney changed for the better. That's half of America, because all they've known of him is what the negative Obama ads and the mainstream media, which is sort of a redundancy, have been saying about him.
So what do you think of that commentary, sir?
Sure, I'll go with that.
Well, you know, let's review our own commentary. You know, although it has been off air largely on Mr. Romney. You know, was he your first choice?
No, he wasn't.
Was he your second choice?
No, not even.
Okay. He was neither my first nor second choice, and honestly, not even my third choice. But as a conservative Republican, you know, he is the choice I have. And I was not enthusiastic, I will be honest. You, Rick?
No, it wasn't, but it's better than the alternative.
Well, whatever do you mean?
You know what I mean.
So, I mean, yeah. As a conservative, this is where you are, and I keep hearing these people talking about, well, we're going to vote for Gary Johnson. Really, please? For what purpose? Well,
so you can lose.
So you, not only you lose, but everybody loses, because we all lose, except for, you know, the 40% that like Obama. And, you know, because Gary Johnson, hell, he's not even on all the ballots in all 50 states. He's not. He's not going to be on at least one ballot where they've already ruled in court against him. So, and, you know, they keep jumping him down for him to be included in the debates. I mean, why? It's a sideshow. It's like going to the circus to see these world-class lion tamers and then stopping to have a look at the elephant ear salesman out in the outside the tent, you know, getting visiting all the vendors and not going inside to see the show. And it's irresponsible, at least I think, because all you're going to do is take votes away from the Republican candidate. And you know, they keep saying, well, they're going to pull some liberals too. No, he's not. He's not, because the liberals have figured out how to go in lockstep to make sure their candidate gets elected, and then to get him to do, or her to do, whatever they want him to do. Now, it falls to us to do the same. Now, you had your chance in the primaries. Ron Paul didn't win. He wasn't going to win, and he now is shuffling off the stage at the end of this term in the Congress, hopefully never to be heard from again. No, Romney wasn't my first choice, but you know, after, I am a little bit more enthusiastic after his performance on the debates. How about you?
Sure. I mean, it wasn't my first choice, second choice, maybe even not even my third choice. But it's who we got to live with, and we can all bitch and moan after everything's said and done here. The thing that needs to happen right now is everybody needs to get together, shut up, and do what's got to be done to get Obama out of the White House, because that's what the really important thing is here. You guys are losing sight of the big picture.
Right, I agree, because the very, we'll focus on the Senate. Well, heads up, boys and girls. Mr. Obama's not worried about the Congress or the Senate. How many executive orders has he signed? More than every other president combined and then multiplied? He's not worried about Congress. He's not worried about the Senate. He's not worried about the Supreme Court, because, they just upheld Obamacare. But there's more on that story later. We'll focus on that one next time. But he doesn't care. He will work around Congress. So get all the senators elected that you want. It doesn't matter. The veto will be there, and then the executive order will be soon to follow. But getting back to the subject, because you know how we do, we are always going off on tangents here, my friend. The we are indeed tangential existentials here. We have the left is just apoplectic, trying to explain why this supposedly smartest man in the room looked like a third grader caught, putting chalk dust in the teacher's chair. One of my favorites comes from former Vice President Albert Gore Jr. Have you heard this one, Rick?
No, I haven't, but I'm sure that you're getting ready to enlighten us.
Oh, you're going to love this one. I heard it, and I almost fell out of my chair laughing. But here you go. This is former Vice President Gore trying to explain President Obama's lack of performance.
Now, I'm going to say something controversial here. Obama arrived in Denver at 2 p.m. today, just a few hours before the debate started. Romney did his debate prep in Denver. Mm-hmm. When you go to 5,000 feet,
exactly,
and you only have a few hours to adjust.
That's interesting.
I don't know, maybe kind
training
of
at altitude. Can I say the first time?
To me, just one real quick thing here. I just came from L.A. the same day. You know what I did? I drank 2 cups of coffee before coming out here.
No,
I
it's
wish
different,
he had
Jake.
coffee or energy
It's
drink.
really different. The first time I ever did stand-up in Denver, I had the same exact effect. I flew in that day, and when your lungs aren't acclimated to that kind of air, yeah, it makes you drawn, it makes you off.
That's interesting.
The president had an off night.
But tell me the...
So... The president had an off night because he was at altitude of 5,000 feet and hadn't quite acclimated to the thin air up there. What do you say, Rick?
Whatever. Hey, the guy's got nothing but air floating through there anyway. What does it matter how thick it is?
Well, he should have pressurized fairly rapidly, since there's empty space between his jug ears, don't you think?
Yep.
I loved it. I heard this, and I saw the of course, they had a teaser headline. Al Gore explains Obama's poor performance. I'm like, okay, I know it's going to have to be some kind of climatological explanation. He was overheated from all the global warming or whatever, and he did not disappoint. He did not disappoint. What's with the excuse making, man? He is who we thought he was. If you've been paying attention to this guy at all, when he's not on script, you knew what you were going to get. They were trying to prepare us all for it in the preceding week. Do you remember? They were telling us all how Romney is a master debater. They were saying. He's a Mormon. I don't know if they do that, but and they were telling you that that Mr. Obama would hold his own, which I think is kind of the same thing, isn't it? I don't know, but exactly. So I think they were trying to prepare us for a poor performance. And John Sununu, who I have coming up here soon to lay it out on the line, I think is explains it perfectly. But we're coming up on a break here, buddy. So
yeah, we are.
So we're going to go kick it old school here and go back to our roots. Dance with the one what brung us with some Rickie Fox and our old standby here, the Stuck Here Blues. You're listening to the Conservative Broadcast Media Network. And this is a Conservative Blues Show with Rick Webb and Kerry Shelton, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.